I know how much I've enjoyed, and Dr. Cartier and Mr. Kirkpatrick, we've really enjoyed over the years meeting quarterly with the students. Over the years, we've talked about everything from midterms, the changes to quarterlies, changing of high school schedules, electives, and a lot of really important change has come out of this, whether it's instructionally or operationally. I know Dr. Cartier and I are proud of the changes that were made by student suggestions, even about the parking lot at North, additional parking spaces at South, which was so important and so big. So many things. We've talked a lot about co-curricular. We've talked about grading. We've talked about many things. One of the opportunities that I've had during this COVID-19 crisis is the opportunity to communicate more directly with stakeholders, and students are very important stakeholders for us. So we want to know how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what we can do to support you educationally, socially, emotionally. And as we plan for an uncertain closure of the school year, certainly this school year is very different for our seniors than anyone that's come before it. And there's certain traditions that are not going to be able to take place maybe the way they've taken place in the past. So we really want to make sure that we, get your perspective before we move forward with important events like scholarship nights, proms, what that's going to look like, how we're going to be able to do that, graduation ceremonies. So that's really what this thing's about, how you're doing educationally, what grading looks like for you, what classes look like for you, and what feedback you have for us on how we can improve on your virtual learning experience. So at this time, I'll stop. I'll turn it over to Dr. Cartier and Mr. Kirkpatrick to give some thoughts.
So Patricia, you want me to say a couple words first?
And then I'll go next. Go ahead.
Okay, so just to reiterate what Dr. George said, starting from an academic standpoint, we want to make sure that we continue to challenge you, but we need to make sure that all of you feel comfortable with the pace, the amount of work that you're getting, the support you're getting from your teachers. All of these pieces are really, really important so that we provide you with a good education, but we're also considering where you're at emotionally. I'm sure that there's some of you who may have parents whose work situation has changed. You may have several siblings in the house working under one Wi-Fi setting that's a challenge for you, so you have to get on at different times. You may have younger brothers or sisters that you're trying to take care of because mom and dad are taking care of different responsibilities. So although we want our academic setting to be rigorous and meaningful, we want to also consider where you guys are at, what you feel like you need to be successful, and really what you would like to see the rest of the marking period look like regard to grading and to quarterlies. Dr. Cartier and I are also going to talk about extracurriculars with you. We've been discussing proms and graduation regularly. As you know, the governor at this point put out a statement that we don't know too much until May 15th. So what we've done is we've put a lot of different plans in place. We're not exactly sure what those plans are going to look like, but we want you to know that these sort of activities are very much in the forefront of our mind, and we want to provide you with the best experience that we can. We're just not exactly sure what that's going to look like. You agree with that, Dr. Cartier?
Exactly. Yes. And also, I know that many students, because I live in the community as well, I see you working in different establishments, okay? The grocery stores, at the pharmacies and things of that sort. So we know that you have other responsibilities besides your academics at this point in time. I also am aware that a lot of the club advisors and coaches are still trying to keep in contact with you, that even though you don't have the opportunity to participate in sports, I know that you're doing things with your coaches through virtual meetings and activities. And we want to just make sure that every aspect of your high school years are being covered during this time of virtual instruction. Alrighty, and teachers are available I have spoken to many of them. They're setting up hangout meetings, and they look forward to you contacting them. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to them. I know sometimes students are hesitant to do so. Sometimes they're embarrassed to do it by themselves, but the teachers are there for you. Counselors, case managers, the SAC, the administrators. We just want to let you know that we're only a couple of finger clicks away from getting in contact with us. Okay, so please reach out.
I also want to quickly add how proud we all are of our school community. It's pretty amazing that, you know, one day we were in school, the next day we didn't have very much lead time, and Middletown really was at the forefront of what the state was doing educationally. So I'm proud of all of you, obviously, for your flexibility, and we're very proud of the teachers as well. I know Dr. Cartier is the same way.
And I also want to give a shout out to the technology department that are working 3 days a week at Middletown High School North. If anybody needs a Chromebook repair, replacement, that they're there for you as well. To the food service, Whitson's Culinary, that is providing food to the community. The health professionals, our school nurses throughout all our 17 schools are there to help anybody to answer questions. We have virtual classrooms out there and all different for all different classrooms and activities. So there are resources here within the Middletown community. So we're grateful to those people.
When we first went to virtual learning, and as we were preparing for it, our thought and our preparation in that was that this might be something we may have a school down or a couple of schools down for short periods of time, that we would take them offline, clean the schools, get our students as soon as possible back to school. So we originally prepared for something that looked very different than this extended timeline that unfortunately we've all had to endure. But we made a decision very early when it relates to clubs, co-curricular activities. We know that those are very important things in our students' lives, and we wanted to make sure that we reached out right at the beginning and said to our coaches and our club advisors, find a way to communicate with our students, to support them socially, emotionally, to help them if it's sports with nutrition plans and fitness plans and all of those kind of things. Because even up until right now, if we know we're out until May 15th, but if we were able to return to school in the end of May or early June, if we could have abbreviated opportunities, we would absolutely make sure we made every effort to provide these. We've thought long and hard about what you're missing out on. And we've read a lot and researched a lot, because although it's not happening to us, we want to make sure that we plan and prepare for your emotional well-being. It doesn't matter if we're talking about the band or sports or choral music. So many things that our students have excelled in over the years, and every year as we approach that timeline for all shore chorus and all shore band and all of those things that happen, all state band, all state chorus, this time of year when our sports programs are revving up and preparing, missing out on that in this time frame. That's why we really want to hear from you. We care about what you think. And what you think is really important. So if you want to email me or you want to email, I said on issues related directly to the class, reach out to those teachers, communicate with them directly, make sure they know what your academic goals are. I'm sitting on an 89. I really want to make sure I get above 90. Communicate what your goals are. That's so important. But the same thing with us. If you're thinking about, well, what is virtual scholarship night? What will that look like? If we have to do that, proms, graduations, what will reach out to us, to your principals, to your club advisors, whoever, and let us know what your thoughts are and what your expectations are. So that'll help us to be able to meet those expectations, please, because it is important to us. I've always said this, but I mean, the time that I spend talking with students is so important to my job responsibilities as superintendent. The one thing that's really opportunity has come out of this time is for me to talk more directly with teachers about grading, about curriculum, about virtual learning, and learn from how we can support you. A lot more focus for me on social, emotional supports in learning and what that looks like So there are opportunities in the middle of this difficulty. And we have to make sure that we take advantage of them. And the best way to do it is communication.